Have you ever just looked at the political world around you and felt like none of this is happening by accident? That it's all been carefully put together, almost like a building? Well, that's actually not too far off. There's a hidden architecture to it all, and today we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the blueprint. And look, the stakes here, they are incredibly high. I mean, listen to this quote from the source material. The system is designed to transform us from, free-thinking individuals into these predictable little units whose reactions can literally be engineered. That is a really powerful and honestly kind of scary thought, right?
So the big question is, right, how does this thing actually get built? What's holding it up? What are the foundations, the framework, the secret passages?
To figure this out, we've got to put on our detective hats. We're going to deconstruct this entire structure piece by piece so we can see exactly how it's designed to work on us. Okay, so first things first, every building needs a foundation. And for this architecture of manipulation, the foundation is built on something that's already inside all of us. It's built on the little bugs, the mental shortcuts our brains use every single day. We're talking about our cognitive biases. And look, these aren't flaws or weaknesses. They're just how we're wired to deal with a crazy, complicated world. But, and this is the key, they can absolutely be exploited.
The biggest one, the real cornerstone of this foundation, is confirmation bias. I mean, think about it. Our brains love feeling like we're right. It's a satisfying feeling. So we naturally go looking for stuff that proves what we already believe. And we get really good at ignoring or just straight up dismissing anything that doesn't fit our worldview.
And this is where things get really 21st century. Just think about your social media feed for a second. The algorithm sees what you click on, what you like, and it just feeds you more of the same. It builds this perfect little echo chamber just for you. And it feels massive, right? Like you're seeing everything. But in reality, it's a tiny, distorted slice of the world designed for one thing, to keep you scrolling by telling you that you're right.
Okay, another big one is what's called the availability heuristic. It sounds complicated, but it's super simple. Basically, our brains take shortcuts. If we can remember something really easily, our brain just assumes it must be super important or that it happens all the time. And what do we remember easily? The stuff that's recent, super dramatic, or really emotional. And that totally warps our sense of what's actually going on in the world. And you see this play out all the time. You get one really vivid, scary story about a crime, and it's on the news 24/7. Suddenly, we all feel like our neighborhood is incredibly dangerous, even if statistically, it's safer than ever. That one emotional, easy-to-recall story can feel way more threatening than a huge systemic health issue that's quietly affecting millions of people. The feeling just stomps all over the facts.
And believe me, these are just a couple of the tools in the toolbox. You've also got things like the anchoring effect, where that first number you hear sticks in your head and influences everything after it. Or negativity bias, our brain's natural tendency to zoom in on all the bad news. They're all part of this foundation, these little quirks in our thinking that can be built upon. All right, so now we've got the foundation laid. What's next? Well, now the architects start putting up the frame. And this is where it gets really interesting, because this part is all about shaping the reality around us and, crucially, getting a direct line to our emotions. So to get how this works, we got to talk about the two different ways our brain operates, something the psychologist Daniel Kahneman talked a lot about. You have system 1, which is your gut feeling. It's fast, it's emotional, it's automatic. Then you have system 2. That's your slow, careful, spreadsheet-making brain. Now, which one of those do you think is a little easier to mess with?
Yep, you got it. The whole game is to bypass your slow, logical system 2 entirely. They don't want you thinking things through. They want you to feel them. By hitting that fast, reactive system 1, they can get an instant emotional response out of you, long before your analytical brain has even had a chance to put its boots on.
And one of the slickest ways they do this is with something called the illusory truth effect. It is ridiculously simple, but it works so well. Here's how it goes. Step 1, introduce a piece of misinformation. Step 2, just repeat it over and over and over again, on TV, on social media, everywhere. Eventually, our brain starts to confuse that feeling of, hey, I've heard that before, with, hey, that must be true. And then you've got the real emotional heavy hitter. Outrage addiction. This is wild. It turns out feeling angry or indignant actually gives our brain a tiny little chemical reward, a little hit of dopamine. So what does modern media do? It taps right into that, feeding us a constant drip of things to be furious about, until we're almost hooked on the feeling of being in conflict. So what's the end result of all this?
well, politics kind of stops being about, boring policy debates and becomes more like a reality TV show. We're not looking for information anymore. We're looking for our next emotional fix, that next jolt of outrage. And that, of course, makes us way more susceptible to really extreme over-the-top messaging. Okay, let's get to the final piece of the puzzle, the last layer of this whole structure. This is the part you see on the outside, the facade. And it's maybe the most powerful part of all, because it taps into one of our deepest human needs, the need to belong to a group. And it weaponizes that. This whole thing is built around something called social identity theory. At our core, we're tribal. We are just hardwired to see the world in terms of us and them. We automatically trust and prefer our own group, our team, our party, our people, and we're naturally suspicious of the other guys. It's a basic survival instinct, baked right into our DNA. And here is where it gets so effective. This tactic changes the entire game of politics. It's not about, is this a good idea, or will this policy help me anymore? Nope. It's just about, are you on our team or theirs? And suddenly, being loyal to your group is way more important than what the facts say. It can even be more important than what's best for you personally. Politics becomes a show, a performance of who you are.
So how do they make this group identity feel so strong? One way is with social proof. We've all done this. When you're not sure what to do, you look around to see what everyone else is doing, right? If it seems like everybody in your group believes something, your brain just goes, well, I guess that's the right thing to believe.
But here's the kicker. That consensus, it doesn't even have to be real. It can be totally faked. They can cook up a poll that makes a crazy idea look mainstream, or unleash an army of bots on social media to make it seem like there's this huge popular movement for something. It's all about creating the illusion of a bandwagon because they know our brains feel this immense pressure to just jump on board. So there you have it. We've taken apart the foundation, the frame, and the facade. And I get it. Hearing all this can feel, well, a little heavy, a little depressing even. But here's the thing. You can't start to fix a problem until you actually understand how it works. So let's just do a super quick recap of this blueprint. At the bottom, you've got the foundation, built on the predictable glitches in our own brains. On top of that, there's the frame, designed to hijack our emotions and bypass our logic. And then, the whole thing is wrapped in the facade, which uses our need to belong to make us choose our team over the truth. But please remember, the point of all this isn't to make you feel hopeless or cynical. It's about awareness. It's like, once someone shows you the blueprint for a magic trick, the trick doesn't really work on you anymore. And it's the same here. Just knowing how these manipulation techniques work is the best defense you have against them. And that really leaves us with one final thought. Look, we all have to exist inside this building. We can't just leave. But we don't have to be trapped by it. Now that you've seen the blueprint, now that you know where the trick stairs and the hidden doors are, the question isn't whether you're being influenced. You are. We all are. The real question is, how are you going to choose to walk through it?